Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been on everyone's mind, gold and silver. We've all seen the charts. They've been on an incredible run, hitting new highs and making headlines. The big question now is, can they do it again? Can gold and silver actually double from here? It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Imagine buying in now and seeing your investment double. But before we get carried away, let's break it down. What's been driving this massive surge? Well, it's a perfect storm of factors. Central banks around the globe have been on a buying spree, stockpiling gold like never before. This isn't just a handful of countries, it's a major global trend. They're looking for stability, a safe haven away from the US dollar, and gold is their go-to asset. Then you have the geopolitical situation. With ongoing conflicts and global tensions, investors are naturally nervous. They're flocking to gold and silver as a hedge against uncertainty. It's a classic flight to safety. And let's not forget about inflation. Even though the official numbers might be cooling, a lot of people feel that the cost of living is still way too high. Gold and silver have always been seen as a way to protect your purchasing power when fiat currencies are losing value. So you have central banks buying, nervous investors seeking safety, and everyday people trying to beat inflation. It all adds up to a massive demand for precious metals, and that's what has pushed prices to these record levels. Now, let's get to the $1,000,000, or maybe the multi-trillion-dollar question: can they double? Let's start with gold. For gold to double, its market cap would need to go from around $16 trillion to a staggering $32 trillion. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of the United States. It's a colossal number, and it means a huge amount of new money would have to flow into the gold market. Where would that money come from? One possibility is a major loss of faith in the US dollar. If the dollar were to seriously falter as the world's reserve currency, you could see a massive capital flight into gold. We're already seeing the early stages of this with de-dollarization efforts by countries like the BRICS nations. They're actively looking for alternatives, and gold is at the top of their list. Another driver could be a severe economic recession or a stock market crash. If traditional investments like stocks and bonds take a major hit, investors would desperately search for a safe place to park their money. Gold has historically performed well during these times. A major crisis could trigger the kind of panic buying that would be needed to push prices toward that doubling mark. However, we have to be realistic. For gold to hit $32 trillion, it would require an unprecedented global financial event. It's not impossible, but it's a very high bar. The global financial system is incredibly resilient, and central banks, especially the Federal Reserve, have powerful tools to prevent a complete collapse. So, while the direction for gold seems to be up, a full doubling in the short to medium term is a bold prediction. It would likely take a black swan event, something completely unexpected and disruptive. Now, let's talk about silver. This is where things get really interesting. Silver's market cap is much, much smaller than gold's. It's only around $1.7 trillion. For silver to double, its market cap would need to reach about $3.4 trillion. That's a lot of money, but it's a far more achievable number than the $16 trillion needed for gold. Think about it this way. The silver market is just a fraction of the size of the gold market. This means it's much more volatile. A smaller amount of new investment can have a much larger impact on the price. This is why you often see silver making much more dramatic moves than gold, both up and down. It's gold's more energetic, sometimes rebellious, younger sibling. But what makes silver so compelling right now is not just its smaller market size, it's its dual nature. Silver is both a monetary metal, like gold, and a critical industrial metal, and its industrial demand is absolutely exploding. Silver is an essential component in so many of the technologies that are shaping our future. Solar panels, for instance. You can't make a high-efficiency solar panel without silver. As the world pushes for a green energy transition, the demand for solar panels is skyrocketing. And that means the demand for silver is skyrocketing right along with it. We're talking about a massive long-term structural demand. It doesn't stop there. Silver is in your smartphone, your laptop, and virtually every piece of modern electronics due to its amazing conductivity. It's also crucial for electric vehicles. As EVs become more common, the need for silver will continue to grow. On top of all that, it has growing applications in medicine and water purification. So, you have this incredible situation where silver's industrial demand is on a clear upward trajectory for the foreseeable future. At the same time, it is also benefiting from all the same monetary factors that are pushing gold higher. Inflation fears, geopolitical risk, and safe haven demand. This is what makes the case for silver doubling so much more compelling, in my opinion. You have a potential supply squeeze on the horizon. The demand from industry is growing so fast that it is projected to outstrip the amount of silver being mined each year. This creates a structural deficit. When demand outpaces supply, prices have to go up. It's basic economics. If a major wave of investment money, spooked by the economy, decides to move into precious metals, where do you think it might go? Some will go to gold, of course, but a lot of investors will look at silver's smaller market and its explosive industrial demand story and see a much greater potential for growth. A relatively small shift of capital from stocks or bonds into the tiny silver market could send prices parabolic. So to recap, for gold to double, you'd likely need a major global financial crisis, a true black swan event. It's possible, but it's a long shot. The sheer size of the gold market makes such a move difficult. For silver, however, the path to doubling seems much clearer. You have a much smaller market, making it easier to move the price. You have relentless and growing industrial demand creating a supply deficit. And you have all the same monetary tailwinds that are benefiting gold. It's a powerful combination. When you look at the historic gold to silver ratio, which measures how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold, it's still well above its historical average. This suggests that silver is undervalued compared to gold and has more room to run. Of course, none of this is financial advice. You always have to do your own research and understand the risks. The precious metals markets can be very volatile. But the fundamentals for both gold and especially silver are looking incredibly strong right now. While gold's climb might be a steady, powerful ascent, silver could be the rocket ship we're all watching. The potential is definitely there. What do you guys think? Is a doubling on the cards for gold, silver, or both? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single one. And if you got some value out of this video, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.